Hello everyone and welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. I hope your day is calm, because what we're about to share will shake even the most seasoned fans. Today's story comes with the weight of a confession whispered behind closed doors, a revelation that makes you pause, rewind, and wonder how you missed the signs. If you haven't already joined our community, now is the moment. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the real talk, the hidden moments, and the untold truths we unpack here every day. Buckle up, this one is a roller coaster. You saw the title. You felt that jolt in your chest. Yes, it's about Cenk and Mahassine, a duo who have defined elegance and charisma for years. When we say we're stunned, we mean it. The buzz coming out of their circle is a full-blown tremor, the kind that rattles timelines and lights up comment sections. What began as a soft murmur online has grown into something impossible to ignore. Something that forces us to look at this celebrated couple with new eyes. For anyone new to their journey, Cenk is that quintessential Turkish leading man, the face you grew up seeing in addictive dramas and classic reruns, whose presence alone pulls focus. He's a symbol of longevity in the industry, a steady star who knows how to pace a career in a business that rarely forgives. And Mahassine, poised, luminous, and sharp, has carved out her own path across screens and stages, building projects that carry her signature energy. Together, they've long represented the fusion of tradition and modern flair, a balance that felt almost cinematic in how effortlessly it fit. From red carpets to candid moments, they always seemed like that couple, the one that made you believe in the quiet power of partnership. They weren't loud about their love, they were consistent. Photos showed side glances, hand squeezes, inside jokes communicated through smiles. They shared just enough to let fans feel included without giving everything away. It worked, until life, real, messy, unpredictable life, stepped in with complications no feed can tidy up. It started as it always does, a few late-night comments on forums, whispers about schedule shifts, a thread compiling sightings where they weren't together. At first, it felt like routine chatter, the sort of noise that surrounds anyone in the public eye. But the tone changed. A handful of sources who usually sit out the gossip chose to speak carefully, and that caution made people listen. The rhythm of their public life, the posts, the acknowledgements, the shout-outs, began to falter. Then came the murmured confirmations from people who know the rhythm behind the curtain. Nothing explosive, nothing scandalous shouted in all caps, just a steady beat of concern. The story forming from those close to the couple described a pressure cooker quietly building heat. The picture we're hearing is not of a sudden blow-up but of small fractures, the kind that develop when two careers stretch across multiple time zones and very few days line up. The word floating above everything is complicated. Not a cold war, not a dramatic slam of the door, but a stretch of days where conversations grow heavier and silences carry weight. What's being suggested is that Cenk and Mahassine have reached a moment that could decide the direction of their marriage. It's not the first time a pair at their level has met this crossroads, but it doesn't make it any easier to process. Stability, once assumed, now feels like something they have to fight for intentionally. If you've watched their trajectory, you can trace the cracks back to the demands of their work. Long shoots that blur morning into night. A festival here, a brand shoot there, a flight at dawn followed by a panel that evening. The public gaze never relaxes, every angle is interpreted, every absence becomes a headline. That kind of scrutiny pulls at even the strongest bonds, and when rest is scarce, misunderstandings multiply. Add to that the reality that art calls people to different cities at the worst times. We're told that certain project choices, good for each of them individually, were bad for the calendar they share. One script that required weeks away. Another opportunity slated for the same month a personal milestone was expected. They've always been supportive of each other's peaks, but support doesn't erase the cost. Time was the currency they kept running out of. And when you're tired, even logistics become emotional. The missed dinners become symbols. The rescheduled trip becomes a metaphor. Of course, as soon as a love story shows strain, people go hunting for third acts and third parties. We need to say this clearly, nothing has been confirmed on that front. There are whispers, There always will be when on-screen chemistry looks too real or when someone gets photographed leaving an event with the wrong expression. But even the people speaking softly behind the scenes emphasize that this is a story of pace, pressure, and distance, not betrayal. Rumors swirl because rumors love a vacuum. Caution is essential here. What's most striking, and what several well-placed voices agree on, is that Cenk and Mahassine have chosen to pause. Not a final goodbye, not the official statement fans dread, but time apart with intent. Time to listen, to sit with what hurts, to decide if the life they've built can be reshaped rather than abandoned. This isn't a decision people make lightly. It follows nights where conversations go in circles, where tears come in waves, and where both ask themselves what saving this love will actually require from them. During this pause, their focuses seem to have diverged in practical ways. Mahassine, ever the consummate professional, is leaning into her slate. Developing, rehearsing, refining, giving her energy a place to land when home feels uncertain. Cenk remains visible, magnetic as ever, moving through obligations with a calm that reads as both discipline and defense. For anyone who has tried to protect their private life while doing public work, none of this will sound strange. It is grueling and, at times, lonely. Let's be clear about the state of play. We're piecing this together from leaks and the patterns of their own choices. There hasn't been a joint statement. What we have, instead, is the absence of the familiar. The couple posts once made space for each other effortlessly. Lately, the grids are curated around separate achievements. Event carpets have seen them on different nights, smiling from different lenses. It's not proof of anything final, but it fans the fire in a world that's always reading between lines. Their supporters, passionate and protective, are split between hope and heartbreak. Comment sections have turned into living rooms where strangers comfort each other. There are threads arguing that giving space is mature, a sign of love that chooses honesty over performance. Others can't shake the disappointment, the feeling of being let down by a narrative they adopted as their own. And then there are the voices asking everyone to breathe, to remember that we are watching people, not characters written to satisfy our expectations. Professionally, the ripple effects may come sooner than anyone wants to admit. Emotional turbulence has a way of sneaking onto set, onto stages, into interviews. A scene that once felt effortless can suddenly feel heavy, a line read with a different cadence because the mind is elsewhere. But there's another possibility here, that the pause becomes fuel. That what they learn individually, about boundaries, about needs, about what should never be negotiated, gives their art a new texture and their partnership a new foundation. So where does that leave us? With the truth no one likes to hear, we have to wait. We have to let time reveal whether this intermission will lead to a renewed vow or a gentle parting. What the last few weeks have taught us is that even the most admired couples face private storms no camera catches, and that love at this level requires strategy as much as sentiment. If they find their way back to each other, it will be because they chose the hard work, not because a fantasy demanded a tidy ending. To recap what we've uncovered today, we followed the breadcrumbs from the first whispers to credible murmurs. We looked at the pressures that stack up when two careers accelerate in opposite directions. We noted the distance that creeps in when calendars refuse to cooperate. We acknowledged the chatter about third parties and treated it for what it is, speculation without substance. We lingered on the decision to take time apart, not a collapse, but a considered pause meant to give clarity a chance. And we watched the fan response, the way a community can ache and rally at the same time. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this emotional journey. Tell us how you're processing this. Did you read the signs earlier than the rest? Do you think Cenk and Mahassine will transform this pause into a comeback story, or does it feel like the final act of a beautiful chapter? Share your thoughts below. We read everything, and this community thrives on your insight. If this deep dive gave you perspective, tap like, send it to the friend who needs the update, and make sure you're subscribed to Secrets Behind the Stars with notifications on. We'll be here, watching carefully, speaking gently, and bringing you the real story as it unfolds. Until next time, take care of your hearts.